Why is Sonic dead?
That's what we're trying to find out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game Losers Radio. I'm your host, Roger Burton, and with me today is my co-host and head editor of GameLosers.net, Christie Rivera. Say hello to everyone, Christie.
No.
That's all the airtime you're going to get. We also have two other guests today. We have John Abbott from Bracket Podcast type source material, and Dan McKenney from and Dan McKenney from a briefescape.com net.
I just choked on my beer.
Who?
Man, I should have said something before the show. I'd appreciate it if you didn't associate me with. I mean, yes, technically I'm a part of that podcast, but I mean, we don't need to drag that into it.
Wait, why do you want to disassociate yourself? What's going on? Is there behind the scenes drama? Spill the beans.
This isn't Bracket Gossip Podcast. This is Game Losers Radio Podcast.
Listen, I think this is more interesting than anything we were going to talk about. What's going on, John? What's the haps?
It's fine. Everything's fine. Let's talk about. Oh boy, what are we talking about tonight, Roger?
We are talking about how are we going to fix Sonic the Hedgehog video games.
Oh, we don't. Just kill him.
We need to get him fixed so he stops producing games. Haha!
Oh, he's a hedgehog.
Yes, allegedly he is a hedgehog.
But he's blue.
That's true.
That's the first problem, Sega.
He's the blue blur. How to fix Sonic the Hedgehog is something I am.
It's a grandiose thing to talk about. So
I think it's something I have thought about since 2006.
Well, I think the first question we should ask ourselves is, what was the last good Sonic the Hedgehog video game?
Easy answer: Sonic Generations.
True.
I don't think Dan's wrong.
Me neither. I'm also assuming we're not counting racing games because Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed is actually really fucking good.
Sure. I don't think
Nobody's
that's
like
not a Sonic
100% behind my answer though. Nobody's like, yeah, that's exactly right. So I'm a little thrown off by that, guy. I thought we were in a safe space.
Because I mean, let me ask you: Are we just getting into it? Do you have talking points scheduled for this, Roger, or are we
This
just?
is a conversation about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, God, of course.
We're all just sitting around the family table. My whole role in this podcast is talk is exactly the same time as Christy.
Yeah.
Every single time.
I already forgot what I was saying.
Already. What? Huh?
What? Who?
Well, I sort of threw out a first talking point in that we were like, in order to try to determine the source of how we can inject Sonic the Hedgehog with... I'm going to stop that sentence midway through. Basically, trying to figure out what makes Sonic the Hedgehog good and what was the last good Sonic the Hedgehog game. And the basic consensus, and I agree with Sonic Generations if we're talking like main series.
Yeah, Sonic Generations is a good game. I mean, it has problems because there's no such thing as a perfect 3D Sonic game.
And that's like the crux. That's the crux of all of our problems that we're dealing with here today.
There never will be.
Well, you're probably right. I mean, the thing is, I think they need to figure out a different way to interpret Sonic in 3D. Like, they really haven't tried much of anything new. I mean,
you think about what makes Sonic Generations work, and again, I use work kind of liberally because it's a good game, but I think to people who appreciate Sonic and appreciate the older Sonic games, it's a better game than, say, somebody who looks at it with a more critical eye. Like, we're being pretty favorable to a game that has some problems, but it plays up the nostalgia heavily.
Yep.
Throughout its entire design.
Mm-hmm.
It plays with the music in a way that the other games... it's a little more comfortable to step out of the box in terms of how it plays around with the music and the menu. Like, when you're right about to enter a level, it does this sort of like jazz flute versions of things. And then even when you're in the level, the remixes that they do branch out a little bit from the norm of either 8-bit chiptune or real bad hard rock.
So I did a little bit of work in the like week leading up to this discussion that we're having, and I replayed Sonic CD, which is my personal favorite 2D old Sonic.
Very good.
And I replayed Generations, and I had forgotten that I had done this, but I actually got an S rank on every act in Sonic Generations.
Me too. Me too.
Here's the thing. I really like Sonic Generations. I think maybe in terms of like 3D Sonics, Sonic Colors might be overall a better. I think like Sonic Generations has highs and lows, and its highs are some of the best 3D Sonic stuff ever, and its lows are what you expect from a 3D Sonic game. It's not great. But
Its lows are the 3D Sonic games that were the real lows.
Yeah. And I think Colors is more of an even line, but maybe it doesn't quite get as high as Generations highs. Here's the thing. People say Sonic needs to be fast, and they're not wrong. But going back and playing like old 2D Sonic games, yes, speed is a big factor in those games, but like what's more important in those games is like momentum, which I think is an important difference over speed. Like
Yeah.
And I mean, a big part of it is Sonic used to have good level design, and there hasn't been good level design in Sonic in probably over a decade. Because if you play those original, and honestly, Generations is a great way to see this difference, because you go through old Sonic levels that have just been remade in this game, and so you can see this transformation happen. In Sonic, the old levels used to be multi-tiered. You would have, basically, if you were at the top of a level, you were doing extremely well. If you had good reaction time and good platforming skills,
and knew the level like the back of your hand.
Right, you were rewarded in the game by, you get to go to the top of the level, and it's usually the fastest way through the level, and it's the way to access a lot of like secrets and stuff. And every time you sort of mess up in old Sonic games, it would sort of knock you down a tier in the level. So you have a level that has anywhere between like 3 and 6 individual levels within it. And a super huge important thing is that in old Sonic games, there was almost never like bottomless pits. There would be a few, but it's insane how, and that was a super important part of the design, because when you get hit in those games, you're going to fall, and if you just fall to your death, like, it's a super unsatisfying and unfair way to die. And modern Sonic is filled with bottomless pits that you are given like no warning. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
See, no warning, threw it right at you.
Well, and I think the best example of that is the chemical plant, right? Like, I mean, the water in and of itself is like the worst thing to be in. When you're in water, I wish I had died instead of being in the water of chemical plant.
And it's so weird, because we've been through 2 moments in history where Sega has said, this is us like restarting the Sonic franchise, and they've both been the most smoking turd failures they've ever made. And it's Sonic the Hedgehog from 2006, Sonic 06, and the most recent monster, Sonic Boom. And it's insane to me that both of these times, where it's publicized as their attempt to revitalize the series, have been the moments where it's been the most rushed, like, buggy mess of a game ever. It's so crazy how they build up this fanfare for themselves. We're like, this time we're gonna fix it, everybody, and they make it the worst they've ever made it.
Why don't we, like, another one of the things I was thinking about discussing today, just because of how fun it would be, is what was wrong with Sonic 06?
Oh, where do we start?
It's not a game. It's unplayable. Like, to say that's a bad game is totally underselling it, because yes, it's a bad game. Like, it's a poorly designed game, but the main problem is that it is one of the buggiest games ever. Like, to where there are it is a challenge to get through levels because you just straight up will like fly through geometry. Like things go wrong in that game that says this was rushed and is a mess and shouldn't have been sold to people.
Yep, and I bought it recently, in fact, like a couple of years ago, used at GameStop.
I don't.
It can't be that bad. It was that bad.
Oh, poor young foolish John. Like if there was a thing I could go back
Wait a
and tell
minute. Wait, let's not roll the clocks back that far, John. I feel like you had enough processing ability in your brain to be like, I don't know about this one.
Well, no, I mean the thing is, 2006 I was in high school, and the last time I had played a Sonic game would have been
Heroes?
Sonic Heroes, which I did not like at all.
Favorite game.
Ugh, I hated Sonic Heroes. I totally bought into like this was gonna be them like fixing Sonic, and I saw some pre-release stuff that I was a little worried about. I was like, okay, I'm kind of not digging some of this stuff, but I thought there was stuff that they were showing that looked good. There was that demo level that like worked pretty well, and I was like, okay, this seems cool. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to like. I didn't wait for reviews. I went out and bought it day one, and it is the fastest I've ever returned a game ever. I returned it within the 24-hour period or whatever, so that I could still get a refund on it. I was like, this is terrible. I was heartbroken.
Poor thing.
Okay, well, aside from the bugs, I do think that there are other things like within the mythos of Sonic 06 that were just unsalvageable in general. The story. The main problem with Sonic games since Sonic Adventure is that they try going all out into these grandiose, super dark, super heavy, dripping with plot stories that end up being completely unable to be taken seriously because of the cast of characters. It's a bunch of critters running around, basically.
It's weird. I wonder, like... I wonder what in the world even brings that on, you know? Like,
well, I think it's a product of its time. I mean, a lot of games in that era of transition over to next gen, even things I think we started seeing it in the GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era of, you know, these games that were for kids, and their attempt to broaden their appeal to the kids they grew up with that have now grown up was to make things darker. The problem is they did Shadow the Hedgehog. That's exactly right, Christy. Shadow the Hedgehog was that attempt, and it's like,
oh God, is it awful?
Man, my copy of Shadow the Hedgehog still is. It's somewhere back home at my family's house. I bought that game, and oh boy, you know what? It wasn't as bad as Sonic 06, and I don't think it was as bad as Heroes either.
I don't know. I'd have to argue that because Roger convinced me to buy it over the summer
for $5.
For $5,
I'd buy it for $5.
And it was the PS2 version, and it's fucking unplayable.
Yeah, there were some console differences in that game that were pretty significant. I played it on the GameCube, and
so did I.
Thankfully, and it was at least playable. I got all of the endings because I'm a cretin with no.
Wait, there were multiple endings?
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing.
16.
That's rad.
Yeah, the whole point of Shadow the Hedgehog is like Shadow the Hedgehog has like an alignment system. You decide if you want to like be evil or like neutral or good, and
you can straight up slaughter people on certain stages.
Are you a paragon or are you a renegade, Shadow the Hedgehog?
That's basically it.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of weird offbeat Sonic games, here's the real best Sonic game that's ever made, Sonic Chronicles, made by BioWare.
Hey, I bought that and I couldn't finish it because I hated it so much.
I love that. That was a great game.
That game had some really shady business going down where BioWare, like, allegedly just kind of stole music from people. Basically, there was like this whole scandal of some of the music that is in the game is, I don't remember, this was forever ago, so I can't remember the details, but it was either incredibly similar or like basically exactly the same as some fan-made. But the thing is, like, they were fan-made remixes of existing Sonic music. So it's already like it's already like a legal like gray area because technically, they're fan arrangements of previously existing music, so they're not really like
Right.
their own intellectual property. But
Yeah.
then, like I said, allegedly, I don't think it was ever looked into very deeply, but BioWare just kind of lifted those fan remixes for themselves
And
and
then they
put them
got
in the
bought by
game.
EA.
Yay!
And
Sims 4.
I'm writing that down, and maybe we'll investigate that on a future episode of A Brief Escape. So
Oh, man,
tune
look
into
at this
that.
guy. Plug in his show.
briefescape.com. It's great.
Who's Dan McKenney? Who let him into the call?
So the music thing aside, the Sonic Chronicles had some weird Chrono Trigger stuff going on in terms of the combat. It had a wild story that it went whole hog with, and I'm
not a
totally
good
into
game.
it. It is a great game. If you can find it somewhere, please pick it up.
It was supposed to be a trilogy, and they never made any more.
Because BioWare
Yes.
got bought by EA.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Didn't it end with like the end question mark?
Yeah, it did. It totally did. And I was all about that question mark. I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Oh, it had that weird robot from Sonic Battle, the GBA game.
Oh, Sonic Battle.
It had exactly. It had all these weird stuff going on. It was wild.
I have like an outside interest in giving it a shot.
Give it a shot.
Because like I respect BioWare because Mass Effect
Yeah.
2 is really good.
Don't listen to John. John's a hater. There's no haters on this Sonic cast. You can't be a hater and be on this show right now.
Well, hey, my personal favorite Sonic game is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, so I'm not allowed to have opinions.
I love that game. I'm right there with you, Roger.
Look, guys, it's not. Oh, it's not good anymore. It was a fun game. It was a fun game when it came out, but it's not a good game.
Just like a year ago, I replayed the entire thing on my Xbox and got 180 emblems for the second time in my life.
You weirdo! I didn't even do that as a kid.
I did it as a kid. I did it on
my
GameCube.
Let me lay it down for y'all. There's a small number of good 3D Sonic games. And it's Sonic Generations, it's Sonic Colors, and people never believe me, but
Unleashed.
It is the non-Werehog levels in Unleashed. Those are the only three good iterations of Sonic in 3D. And I'm sorry, everyone loves Adventure and Adventure 2. They're not good.
I don't really like Adventure.
I like Adventure.
Oh boy, Christy, I'm sorry, but Adventure is flaming hot garbage.
I know it's garbage, but I do like it. I like
even as a kid, I was like, this is dumb. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there are good moments in Adventure 1 and 2. There are a small handful of levels that work well, but nope.
Christy, why do you like Sonic Adventure so much?
Well, besides being attached to the story, I really like oh my god, this is so stupid, but I do like the free roaming world where you can kind of like the overworld where you can talk to people and it's really stupid. Yeah, and you can drown in the swimming pool, and I have to go back and play it though because it's been a while.
I played it a year ago around the same time I played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the 360, and like I got through it, but some of those levels were treks. Casinopolis is a fucking disaster.
Oh, fuck that.
Casinopolis is awful. Big the Cat is awful.
No, we can't. Look.
No haters.
Hey, big cat. Hey, little guy. Can you tell me what's inside?
Oh,
sorry, but I don't know.
I mean, listen, I have a few things that I have thought of like to quote unquote fix Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Bring Big the Cat back. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
So the crazy thing is, like, there was a while where this is when I still cared about going on, like, message boards and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Let's get into this topic.
Yeah, I still moderate one, so...
And this was the Penny Arcade message boards. And there was this is where I found it. There was, like, an interview with, I want to say it was the team that would go on to make Sonic Colors. But there was an interview with the guy that was like leading that team, and he was talking about, Sonic Colors was a big deal because you only play as Sonic in it. There was Sonic Unleashed we thought was going to be just Sonic, but they had the Werehog stuff, which might as well have been a second character. And so someone was asking him, like, is this just going to be Sonic, or are we getting like a Werehog equivalent this time? And he was like, no, just Sonic. And in that interview, he went on to reveal sort of the reason why, when we made the jump to 3D, there had to be this emphasis on other characters. And it's because Sonic was going so fast in these 3D games that, like, the levels had to be huge. Like, you don't realize it while you're playing them because of the speed you're going, but apparently it was so resource intensive to build these giant levels that you would get through in just a matter of minutes, that, like, it wasn't a good investment of time and resources. So they were like, people aren't going to buy a Sonic game if it doesn't last a certain amount of time. So they were literally padding out the game with these.
One is
they were worried no one would pay $60 for a Sonic game if it amounted to like 2-3 hours of just playing as Sonic.
Yeah, let's throw them 30 minutes where they have to figure out how to fish.
Yeah,
but the thing is, they brought it back for Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, those Knuckles levels are where you have to hunt down Master Emerald pieces, which is like the last thing I think I want to see Knuckles the Echidna do. Well, he ain't gonna let it get to him. He's just gonna creep down a Pumpkin Hill. He's got to find his lost piece. Worst music.
It works. Like
As a kid, I tricked myself into liking the Knuckles, and I tricked myself into liking all of the levels in Sonic Adventure 2.
The only one I hate is Cosmic Wall. I loathe Cosmic Wall. Christie can like talk about this for hours about how I just cuss at Cosmic Wall every day of my life.
I think we need, before we move on, I think the only thing that needs to be said is that it is so painful that Sonic Generations included Sonic 06 levels, but didn't include any Sonic CD levels.
Yeah.
Oh, cry me a river. There's Sonic Boom is in there.
Hey, it could have had Palm Tree Panic. That would have been incredible.
The truth of the matter is, like, if they want to fix Sonic, they need to actually do something totally different. Like, because
I have a plan to fix Sonic.
If you look at this whole Sonic Boom mess, it's so, like, painful to see how they were too scared to, like, actually make any changes that mattered. You know, like, they talk about how they're redesigning the character, and the redesigns are barely redesigns because they're too scared to, like, change a mascot character. They say they're changing the gameplay, but
you do have to press a button to sprint now.
Which
sure,
is
and
bullshit. That's stupid. Okay, I was playing the Sonic Boom demo literally, like a half hour ago because I hadn't played it yet. Why are there so many buttons to do things simple? Like, why is the jump button not the A button?
What's the jump button?
That's stupid. And it's stupid to sprint. It's B.
Huh.
Okay, wait. Okay, now we're just splitting hairs here.
I mean, I just want to make clear, like, the people who say that, like, all Sonic games are like running to the right don't, like, really know what Sonic is.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, really, Sonic has never been about that. Like, yes, technically you can probably clear Green Hill Zone doing that, but I mean, the old Sonic games, you had to stop and, like, do platforming, and, like, I just think it was a much more complex and rewarding system than people give it credit for. And, I mean, a lot of people will say that that's, like, nostalgia talking, but I didn't grow up on Sega systems. Like, the only Sonic that I played as a kid was whenever I got a random chance to play it at friends' houses. I was obsessed with the character and the comics and the TV show as a kid, but I didn't own any of the games until Sega failed with the Dreamcast and started going third party.
Rest in peace. Yeah, my first Sonic game was actually on the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
It was Sonic Pocket Adventure on the Neo Geo Pocket Color in, like, the late 90s. And it was basically just a port of the original Sonic the Hedgehog. And I'll just say that I played it enough to the point where I eventually had my Neo Geo Pocket Color taken away from me. And then
Yeah,
my second Sonic game was a game that I still hold in very high regard, Sonic Advance on the Game Boy Advance.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was not bad.
Like, it did the same thing, basically, that Sonic Boom tried to do with, like, being able to play as 4 different characters, but in Sonic Advance, the characters actually feel different. In Sonic Boom 3DS, Tails and Sonic and What's-Her-Head and Knuckles
What's-Her-Head, yep.
go the same speed. Tails can't even fly anymore. That is personally insulting.
I don't know how it is in the 3DS version, but I've been watching a lot of footage of Sonic Boom on the Wii U, and it doesn't seem like Knuckles can glide anymore.
Oh, cool. Yeah, let's take away the one thing that makes him different.
They also, like, gave Knuckles a full frontal lobotomy, pretty much.
Yeah, it's really sad that they took, like, I don't know, they took a fan favorite character and, like, took away all the cool stuff about that character.
Like, he used to, like, I get it. They want to really play up the fact that he's sort of like Sonic's friendly rival, but you don't have to, like, completely ignore the fact that within the context of the Sonic universe, he's, like, supposed to be the fucking wise man.
He's
Like,
pretty important considering, the Emerald and all of that.
I don't even know if that stuff is in Sonic Boom though. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if any of that stuff,
Well,
like,
let's face it, Sonic Boom is unfixable at this point.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
no-
definitely.
There's nothing. Exactly. One game out, and it's just like, there's nothing redeemable about this. Whatever they've set up and the precedent that they've set up for any future games, that's just the way it is, and it's clear from level design, the character design.
I don't think there will be future games, because at the beginning of this whole Sonic Boom stuff, they were talking about how, like I said before, this grand redesign of the Sonic universe and all these characters and stuff. But then, like, they were very quick to follow that up with saying, oh, no. This is just another universe in the Sonic franchise. Like, they immediately backpedaled to cover their own ass and said, like, oh, if we mess this up, if this turns out, like, bad and stupid, we can just release a regular Sonic game 2 years from now, and it won't be Boom. It'll be the old, like, everything will go back to normal because we told you, like, and we can do it because we told you that this was just an alternate, like, interpretation of Sonic, not the new status quo Sonic.
I wonder
like,
if this was before or after half of the dev team, including the producer of Sonic Boom Wii U, quit.
I think
Have you heard about that?
Done it. I think they would have done it no matter what. I think they would have made that statement no matter what, because Sega is a mess, and they don't know how to commit. They're so scared of messing the thing up that they don't go far enough with the stuff. They really just need, like, the only thing is they just need to do a whole new thing. Like, they can't do. I've seen people suggest that Sonic should be like an endless runner, and I think that's such a big mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
That's
is
a
an
mobile
iPhone
game.
game that
Yeah.
is like that.
Sonic Dash took, like, a chunk out of my life, like, 1 month 2 years ago.
I just think that's never really what Sonic has been about. Like, that's kind of what it's so strange, because, like, the marketing and, like, the attitude of Sonic games has always been about go fast, go. It's about fast. But that's never really how the games have played. Like, if you try to play them like that, then yeah, you're gonna have a bad time with even the first Sonic game.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's sort of like another point I like had earlier of contention about, like, the 3DS demo and Sonic 06 and even a couple of levels in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, is that the levels are too long. Like, if Sega wants to market Sonic games as go fast, then I should be able to clear a level in 3 minutes as opposed to meandering around and ending up, like, with a 10-minute clear time.
Yeah, my clear time on the first level for Sonic Boom, I don't even know how many levels are included, but it's 10 minutes right now, and I still haven't finished.
Well, because Sonic Boom is, I think Sonic Boom is kind of an exception, because I don't think they are trying to say, they're purposely saying that it's a departure from the norm, in that it's not just about going fast, it's about being sort of like a brawler kind of game.
But it's really bad.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad. Like, I don't know, the first thing I said to Roger, I think, when I told him I was playing it, is it looks like Temple Run 2. It looks really weird and mobile gamey, and, like, it doesn't look, I don't know, there's just something wrong with it.
It's power of the Cry engine, you know?
And I mean, like, But my favorite thing about Sonic Boom 3DS is the quote reward unquote you get for collecting all of the shards of the Inuyasha crystal
Oh yeah.
is
Wait a minute, is it really called the Inuyasha Crystal?
no.
No.
Oh. God damn it, Roger. Listen, I don't know a thing about Sonic Boom other than it sucks and it doesn't look that great and it never did. So you could have just told me straight up, like, yeah, it's the Inuyasha Crystal and like a Naruto comes out of it. I would have been like,
Yeah.
this is so dumb.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
like when you
Naruto
collect
comes
all
in
the shards of the Inuyasha crystal, Sonic goes full Hokage Saiyan Super and
Okay, I
eats the
need to
dragon.
leave this podcast.
Yeah, like a lot of words are being thrown out that I don't know.
Roger, please quit spoiling my fanfic.
No, no, no. What actually happens might be worse than what I just suggested. You get to enter Amy's house because I think part of the plot of Sonic Boom 3DS is that Amy's kidnapped or whatever. And within Amy's house, there is like a 4-minute video of the cast of characters dancing to rave music.
You know what? Here's how you fix Sonic. You never ever make another Sonic game again, and instead you just get the team who made that awesome animated short of Sonic Unleashed with the Ghost Girl to make Sonic movies, and the character lives on like that, but nobody ever has to control him ever again.
Well,
Okay.
actually, I have a couple of things to say about the show. I've watched all 4.
So, regrettably, I have not seen any of the show yet. It's something
I don't
that
know if you should qualify that with a regrettably.
Well, I mean, even
I
if it's not
haven't seen it.
good, it's still something that, regrettably, because I want to see it. I'm curious, and I wish I could talk about it. Is why I'm saying regrettably.
Well, the only reason I can even watch it in the first place is because I have a DVR, because it comes on at 7 a.m. on Saturdays.
Sure.
It is the Saturday morning-iest cartoon of Saturday morning cartoons. But I've watched all 4 episodes thus far, and have come to the following conclusions. Styx is a tragedy that needs to be just...
Well, I could have told you that from
Yeah,
the first
but-
time they showed her off.
They've completely ruined Knuckles' character entirely. The voice acting is very hit and miss, and for Styx, it's an entire miss. Fun fact:
Voice is a
the
thing.
voice actress for Styx is the same person who goes "Give It to Me, Baby" on Pretty Fly for a White Guy. True facts.
Oh, Sonic
So-
facts.
I came here to fix Sonic. I don't care about Sonic Boom at this point, guys. Let's put it out. Let's take Sonic Boom out behind the barn and
I can
just
agree
put a
to
slug
that.
in it.
I can agree
Okay?
to that.
And by slug, I mean the slugs from Animorphs that can mind control.
So,
What?
okay, question: would an ideal Sonic game be portable or on a console?
On a console.
Console.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, at this point, yeah, probably. I mean, I think certain appeal to Sonic is that if the game is designed correctly, like the big moments in Sonic need to look good and impressive. Like, if you make a Sonic game and you don't have a moment where you go through a loop and it feels kind of cool even though you didn't do a lot to make it happen, it's not a good Sonic game.
I mean,
Yes, every Sonic game has to have a loop-de-loop. We've established this
right.
much.
It's got to be. It's the World 1-1. You got to have a loop-de-loop. It's got to be in Green Hill Zone or something similar, and you got to have like 3 of them back to back to back.
Yeah.
Everyone says like Sonic either needs to be like really fast or the levels need to keep up with that. I think we need to slow Sonic down.
No, I absolutely agree. I don't think I don't think speed is an important part necessarily.
Speed is an important part when you're trying to sell consoles and yours has a blast processor in it. That's when speed is a big part.
And like I said at the beginning, like the original Sonic games were not about speed as much as they were about momentum. Like it was about it's kind of similar to the way people talk about old Donkey Kong Country games where there was a certain rhythm that you would get into the way you moved forward in levels of that game, where if you're kind of in that like Zen mode of like you're hitting everything at the right timing, like there's this real like rhythm to how you go through a level. And Sonic's kind of the same way. Like in the old games, like being able to press down at any time while you were running and moving forward to go into the ball and then roll over hills, and actually like it actually had physics that responded to you slow down if you go up a hill and stuff. That the game was designed around that more than just go fast.
I think 3D World, Super Mario 3D World, has it is the step in the direction that Sonic needs to go. Because
That
I feel
every
like,
game needs to go. That's my favorite
well,
game of
no,
the
but
past 2 years.
Sonic in particular, because the way it proves that you can have momentum in a game. Like Mario doesn't normally have momentum. I feel like if you compare like the older games or even the new Super Mario Brothers line, but whereas 3D World, there are some segments in there where they kind of block them off. There's a big open area with a flagpole for the checkpoint, and then everything else is just kind of contained areas of momentum and rhythm, and you
I
can
think
really master and fly through those.
I think
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think another place to look for of like the sort of momentum and rhythm attitude towards like platforming and stuff is Rayman Legends and Rayman
Absolutely.
Origins or Origins, is that what it was called?
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's elements in those games that are not necessary. I think actually, yeah. I mean, the only difference really between the way you progress through those levels and the way you'd progress through old Sonic levels is what I mentioned earlier about Sonic levels having sort of multiple tiers within a level. If you added that to those Rayman games, they would actually play kind of very similarly to old Sonic.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
think
kids are ready to race. I tell you what. I'm not. That sounds like the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life.
Old man
But
McKenney, I tell you what, boy, those
Oh
kids are
boy.
ready to
listen, no,
race.
you. Every time I play Super Mario 3D World, the immediate thing, like once you beat a level and all the Amiibo first post scroll by, it's like 36 seconds, 35 seconds, 30 seconds, 31 seconds. Just like kids posting their times because there's no official leaderboards, there's no ranked time. So they're just posting Miiverse posts and making their own. And it's like kids are ready to do that. Kids are ready to fly through things and master and like do the stuff that we did when we were kids, just like playing a game over and over and over until you know it like the back of your hand.
Yeah,
They're still up for it.
I had to stop myself before like turning this into a discussion about how great Super Mario 3D World is.
Let's not do that ever
okay,
because it's
but
not.
sorry. I haven't talked in a while. Let me talk.
Everybody, shut up.
Shut up!
sorry. Okay, tell me.
No, I think Dan, what you brought up about like the contained areas of momentum, I think that's really important because in Sonic 06, you're kind of allowed to just fly and roll around really fast, and you don't have like any idea where you're going. At least when
Yeah.
I do when I'm playing the game, I have no idea where the hell I'm going. I'm stupid. I need to be told where to go. At least Sonic Adventure 2 had arrows, like telling you you're gonna have to turn eventually. But Sonic 06 didn't have that. I need like cues, or I need it to be visibly contained to where I'm not just being told to run through a hoop and then die because I did it wrong.
This water you can fall into, but this water's okay to run into.
Sonic's scared of water. Why can you go in the water now?
Uh, you could always, well, from the beginning you could kind of go in water. It's just Sonic can't swim, and he has no buoyancy. He just sinks like a rock and has to run across the bottom of any body of water.
How dense is Sonic? What's Sonic's mass?
I mean, yeah, he's like dark matter. Like
Sonic is just a black hole, and all he sucks up is chili dogs.
He's a teenage
Yeah.
fugitive on the run.
Oh,
Let's
shut
Shadow
up.
the Hedgehog.
I think it's
I think
on
we're
one
circling
hand,
around.
it's
Go ahead. Sorry.
a shame, and I am. For a few years it looked good. For a few years I could talk about Sonic games and like smile when I talked about them. But things have been getting worse than ever lately, and I just, on one hand, like it sucks to have a series that I care about like be just one of the worst things ever. But it's kind of been a little freeing. It's felt good to kind of be like, I don't need to play that game.
Oh, John finally kicked it.
That was the night when the lights went out in Georgia.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's taken me probably like a decade longer than the rest of the world to say like, I don't know if I need another Sonic game again. Like, I think I don't want that character to go away. Like, as many times as they have dragged poor Sonic through the mud, like there's still there's still appeal there to that character for me, and that's why I go back and watch that damn short that they did before Sonic Unleashed came out with that ghost girl. Like, that short is so amazing and like shows how fun Sonic can be. It's just a shame that he has to get tied to these really bad games.
I think we're just spiraling around the bowl now of the inevitable future where Nintendo has full control of Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, they're clearly making a play for him.
Yeah.
They're making them amiibos.
Sure, I mean, that's what everyone says about everything, though. Like, Smash Brothers comes out and everyone's like, Nintendo needs to have Mega Man.
Here's the thing: Nintendo does not need to have Mega Man. Mega Man, Capcom can keep Mega Man. They can keep doing whatever. Nintendo doesn't even need Sonic. But if Sonic needs a future, Sonic needs Nintendo. And I would have said before, just like, yeah, it would have been nice. You know, it would be cool to see what Nintendo does with a Sonic game. But now that they're making an amiibo of the dude, I'm starting to think there might be a little, like, Nintendo and Sega have started to become the best of friends. They published Bayonetta 2. I think they're more than willing to start talking about maybe just working together on it, making a collab a little bit, you know?
I don't know if this information is something that would ever be made available, but I've been wondering after Sonic Boom came out if we've seen our last Nintendo exclusive Sonic game, not because of Sonic Boom being bad, but like I wonder if Sega signed like a deal with Nintendo that said like, okay, we want 3 exclusive Sonic games, and so we got a Mario and Sonic Olympic game again,
which was all right.
We got Sonic Lost Worlds.
No,
and we
that
got
was
Sonic
bad.
Boom. We got Sonic Boom, and I like and you know who knows? I don't know if this whole arrangement is like a permanent thing between them. You know.
God, when you said Sonic Lost World, that reminded me of when me and Roger gameflied it and then sent it back the same day. Because it was a big, awful thing.
So I've watched enough of Sonic Boom to know that I can like clear my conscience of I don't feel bad that I am not going to play or own Sonic Boom. But Sonic Lost Worlds, like, I never picked it up, and there is doubt in the back of my head of like, I wonder if maybe there's something good there.
Nope.
Like,
don't do it.
Because
we love you, John. We care about you. Don't do it.
The thing is,
it has been 13 days since John relapsed.
The thing is, like, 99% of people you're going to run into out in the world are going to tell you how horrible Sonic Unleashed is. But I could sit here and tell you how the good parts of Sonic Unleashed are amazing.
Please don't.
So a part of me like looks at some of the stuff that was going on in Sonic Lost Worlds, and I'm like, hey, that looks kind of interesting. I wonder if there's something to it.
Hey, John, let me ask, is Rooftop Run from Sonic Unleashed?
Yes, it is.
Rooftop Run is my all-time favorite level from Sonic Generations. I'll tell you what. If that's what all the daytime levels in Sonic Unleashed are, yeah.
Yes. The daytime levels in Sonic Unleashed are. I mean, did you play Sonic Colors?
No, yes. I played the Sonic Colors level in Sonic Generations, which might as well have been all of Sonic Colors.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that's a 6-minute long Sonic Colors demo.
I mean, the daytime levels in Sonic Unleashed are, I'd say, like the same quality as Sonic Colors. They don't have like the crazy colors powers. But I don't know. There was something. I think it's like the first boss fight in Sonic Unleashed is actually like it's like one of the best 3D Sonic boss fights ever.
There's not a lot of competition.
No. But I do think it's I don't know. That game really surprised me in a big way.
Hold on, Roger. I mean, let's be honest. The duels in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle are pretty tops. Especially between Knuckles and Rouge. Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on.
Come on,
well,
Roger.
Okay, in the Duel with Shadow, he does say, I'm the coolest. So, okay, I gotta throw a bone there. But you know, it was a very severely underrated Sonic the Hedgehog game? Sonic and I can't even finish it.
Don't.
Sonic and the Secret Rings?
Yeah!
Okay. Now, wait a minute. Sonic and the Secret Rings. Sonic and the Secret Rings is the first moment in 3D Sonic history where somebody was kind of a little bit at the start of a trail to making a good 3D Sonic game. There are things in Sonic and the Secret Rings that it is not a good game. It is not a good game, But
Oh, it's a great game.
there are ideas in that game that are like, oh man, you guys almost got it. You guys are you almost had it.
You're so close.
But you know what grandmas
And it's
say,
so
almost
crazy
only
'cause
counts
that-
in horseshoes and hand grenades.
But we don't. Sonic and the Black Knight, I'm glad
Hell
didn't
yeah.
come up at all. No.
Sonic and the Black Knight.
Okay, was
What's up?
Shadow Lancelot in that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about that. Oh God. Ugh.
I have
I mean-
this is a funny side story, but like I did a big Extra Life thing for like a town-wide Extra Life for like a few years back, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And a lot of game companies donated stuff to be like sold on eBay or to be given out at the thing. And Sega, I got in touch with, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, we'll give you some stuff." And I come home one day, and there's just a giant, I'm talking like a 3-foot tall by 3-foot wide square box, just full of, and I'm not kidding, all Sonic and the Black Knight.
Oh God.
It is all Sonic and the Black Knight, and then there were even some games in there, and like all of the games were Sonic and the Black Knight, one, the Banjo-Kazooie edition of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing,
Oh my god.
and Jumbo Safari, which is an unknown Sega-published Wii game. So
Jumbo Safari.
yeah. So Sonic and the Black Knight, I don't think was that great. I think that was supposed to be a trilogy. They didn't do a trilogy, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm
That was
pretty
game 2.
sure You're correct.
Because, like, yeah, Sonic and the Secret Rings was like Arabian Nights, and then they had the Knights of the Round Table, and I think the next one was going to be Ricky Bobby.
I mean, I felt it felt good to like all the leftover stuff, like all of the leftover Sonic and the Black Knight toys went to like Toys for Tots. But at the same time, for a brief period of time, I was in possession of just a box of Sonic and the Black Knight bullcrap that nobody wanted.
That was your personal E.T. landfill.
It was it was in a basement. It was underground.
You were doing us a favor by keeping those hidden.
And
Yeah.
so I unleashed them into the world. They're my Horcruxes. You got to find them all to kill me.
So is there a
Pandora's
3D
box.
Sonic game we haven't touched on? I'm trying to think. Aside from
we
the
even
Olympic-
touched on Sonic the Hedgehog, Shadow the Hedgehog, rather. God.
Yeah, we
Oh God.
did sort of talk about that one. Like, one of the things I was like throwing around in my head for how to fix Sonic games was maybe take Sonic out of them. Maybe like I was trying to think. The last game that didn't have a title that started with the word Sonic was either Knuckles Chaotix or Tails Adventure.
I was about to say, are you about to get Vector the Chameleon up on this like his own game?
Vector's
No,
a
Vector,
fucking crocodile.
Vector's the crocodile.
Wait, oh,
Espio's the
Espio.
Wow.
chameleon. I'm
Oh,
about to kick
sorry.
you out.
I'm so sorry for not remembering these Game Gear characters.
They came back in Sonic Heroes.
They
Which-
were in,
In
What?
Sonic Heroes, which their whole game, their whole storyline was collect things throughout levels. It was like, John is very upset. John is ready to give up.
I just don't want to think about Sonic Heroes. It's so fucking
Sonic
bad. I don't know if I can
Heroes.
say that in this podcast, but
I love how in the announce video for Sonic and the new Smash Brothers, they used Sonic Heroes for some
I
reason.
don't
great.
even.
I love it. They are totally embracing it. They put that Seaside Valley, whatever, in Sonic Generations. It's wonderful. I hated that level to pieces, but I love it there. That
Can we all agree at least that to fix Sonic we need more Crush 40?
we need more
We need
Crush 40.
Crush
Sure,
50.
sure.
We
Crush
need a
100.
ton more Crush 40. We need a billion Shadow the Hedgehog robots.
Oh yeah.
That was a weird side plot for them. I don't know what they were doing with that. Is Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic Boom?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
How did they retcon him into that universe?
Sonic Boom 3DS. You're fighting the final boss. I've watched this scene, and instead of defeating the final boss, Shadow defeats it for you, and then that's the game.
And he's like, bye, I'm a lone
I
wolf.
am into that. I am so down with that.
Wait, so he's Star Fox Adventures. He's Falco flying in at the end.
Yes. Yes.
Like, oh, that's great. That's a fantastic ending.
And he's like, you
I'll
can't
be,
take
I
credit
will be
for
straight
this.
up honest with you guys. I kind of want them to like fix Shadow more than I want them to fix Sonic. Like,
Yeah.
The first step is his voice.
I mean, I was in middle school when Adventure 2 Well, Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube is what I played before.
Yeah,
but,
same here.
So I was young enough that I totally fell for the like dumb, edgy rival hedgehog thing.
Oh,
like,
me too.
Who didn't? Oh, come on.
And
There's a charm, Shadow.
and now it's grown into like an ironic love, but like there's something about Shadow the Hedgehog that like I just laugh and get a smile on my face every time that stupid idiot shows up.
I hate that hedgehog.
Whoa, Batman just showed up.
I guess my Eggman impression sounds more like Batman. Let's not do Eggman impressions.
I wasn't, don't worry. But yeah, Shadow as a character is just really endearing to me. Like, there's something really adorable about this stupid, I'm the coolest. And
I don't know if you guys know this, right? But he's the ultimate life form.
Yeah, and here's the thing. That's not stupid. It's a fact. He is the coolest character in the whole bunch.
My favorite thing about Shadow is that the prototype of Shadow the Hedgehog is a fucking giant lizard.
Yeah,
and they were like, well, I don't know. Let's make it smaller and like maybe give it some spines.
The ultimate
Guys, you
life
really
form
think this is the ultimate life form? I don't know.
I'm thinking hedgehog.
Big Leopleurodon.
No, the biggest problem with Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was the fact that the plot hinged on people not being able to tell the difference between blue and black.
Right?
The whole plot was based around people misrecognizing Sonic for Shadow.
You know
that's
what?
Spider-Man stuff, though. You know.
I've got it. I've got the answer to how we fix Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
And it's amazing that no one's thought of this yet. Let Amy get the Chaos Emeralds and go Super Amy.
Okay, I like this.
I like this.
I'm gonna look for fan art of this right now.
Because we have Super Sonic, we have I guess it's Super Shadow. Knuckles gets his own name, right? He's like Mighty Knuckles or something.
Hyper Knuckles. It's
Hyper Knuckles.
And
There we go. Hyper Knuckles.
Yeah, I just googled Super Amy Rose and I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Oh, me too. Look at this.
I'm loving this. This is great.
So we get a game where Amy goes super, and we have a whole new.
And it takes place
series.
entirely on DeviantArt.
We gotta have some.
No, but I'm into it. Let's make everybody super. Let's make Super Amy. I'm into it.
Super Rouge.
Super Charmy Bee.
Super Charming Bee. Yeah, sure. Everyone's super
big. Super
game.
big.
And here's my question: where the hell is Mighty the Armadillo?
I miss him.
Weren't there like in the City Escape level in Sonic Generations? Weren't there like missing posters for those characters?
I know there's a wanted poster for Fang, aka
Fang.
Knack.
Yeah.
But I don't know about any other images.
I just found a Super Amy Rose Pokemon card, a Super Amy Rose Yu-Gi-Oh card. They got all the bases covered here.
So, clear this up for me. Blaze the Cat is from an alternate universe that Sonic goes to sometimes, right? Okay.
Yes.
And so that's cleared up. Because I'm trying to piece this together, and I've sort of read Wiki. You know how you get on Wikis from time to time, you go down a rabbit hole, you catch up on
Oh,
things.
trust me.
All the time.
Look, if we're gonna, I know what it's like, man. You've had a few beers, you go on the Sonic Wiki for a night. One thing.
Right. It's great reading. So, but also from this universe is Silver the Hedgehog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's friends with Blaze the Cat.
Yes.
Yes.
So my question is, why did we need to replace Blaze the Cat? Why did we need to replace the female character with a male hedgehog? Is what I'm saying. Blaze the Cat seems like a real cool let's.
Well, what do you mean replace?
Well, because Silver came into Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and Blaze is in that game too. Blaze is in that game.
Blaze is in the game as well.
Can you? Oh, really? Can you play as Blaze?
Blaze is the
I think
princess.
there's a level or two where you play as Blaze.
Yeah.
Oh, well, cool.
It's like so in the Sonic campaign, there's a few levels where you play as Tails. In the Shadow campaign, there's a few levels where you play as Rouge.
And they're awful.
There's a Shadow campaign?
Yes, there's a Shadow, Silver, and Sonic campaign in Sonic.
Yeah, you get to
06.
ride like a fucking motorcycle as Shadow.
Yeah, the Shadow levels are all vehicle and gun based.
Good. Damn, Shadow started off as he's kind of cool. I'll accept him into the universe, and now he's just full-blown Wario.
Yeah,
right?
it's
Wow, I would love to take that direction with Shadow.
just eating garlic all day.
Nasty farter.
I wonder what Shadow likes to eat. I wonder what his favorite food is. Because Sonic's all about chili dogs. Which
Now I'm
I,
now
Thanks.
googling Shadow the Hedgehog.
you know, the
food.
thing is, I actually have always kind of taken issue with people calling out the chili dog thing, since, like, I think the only game that has ever made mention of chili dogs is maybe Sonic Unleashed. Like,
Well,
that was purely
Is it-
a, like,
Isn't it in
cartoon
Sonic
thing.
06 where is it? What is it that I'm thinking of where he gets warped? Oh, Sonic Generations. Isn't it where they something about his chili dog for his birthday?
Oh, yeah, you're right. That is in the opening cutscene, yeah.
Yeah, and then like he gets it at the end again. He's like, "It's still warm."
I love
Yeah.
that part. That part is incredible. Okay, I ended up on this quiz for how much do you know about Shadow the Hedgehog. Let's
Oh,
see if we
good
can crowdsource
God.
this.
Honey, no.
Is that how we end this? We all test our shadow knowledge?
Okay, yeah. That's as good a place as any. We got a lot established. We need to turn Amy Rose into a Super Saiyan. We need to forget Styx ever existed. Forget Sonic Boom ever existed.
Bring back to call. That's my
Bring
only.
back-
Yeah, bring back to call. Slow the game down. For
Slow
God's
the game
sakes.
down.
Crazy kids.
And what was the other thing we established? Was it shorter levels?
Or just don't make any more. Just
Let Sonic die in dignity.
they're supposedly Sony Pictures Animation. I know Sony is
God.
making a Sonic feature animated film.
I'm all in.
God, after an hour of going down Sonic memory lane, John is like, you know what? Maybe let's close the book on it.
No,
Well-
I mean, that's maybe don't make any other games is the only conclusion I can come to, because I really think they only have two options, and one option is make more games that were like Sonic 1, 2, 3, and CD, which I don't think is necessarily a great answer. Like those games are great, but like I don't think you can't push out a new Sonic game every couple of years that's just that game over and over again.
Yeah, that's
And-
why Sonic the Hedgehog 4 ended up so miserably.
Well, that game is also
Sorry, Sonic
garbage.
Hedgehog 4, Episode 1.
That game is also garbage, but and the other direction is, I mean, if you're not doing that, then you have to take the game in a whole new direction. Like you really have to. They would have to totally reinvent what Sonic is about. I think even in that scenario, they would still need to take a lot of inspiration from those original titles, but they would never do it. They would never take the time and the patience and the it'd be a bold move. They'd never have the guts to do something like that. It's always, even though Sonic Boom, the majority of the gameplay isn't about going fast and going through loops. There are still parts where you go fast and go through loops because they're so scared that if they do something different, everyone will just vanish. When, in honesty, doing something totally, completely fucking new would bring in more people.
I feel like we should end on a positive note. And I want
it
if I
to be
may,
the Shadow quiz. I'm dead set on taking this.
Okay, well then real quick, I do want to ask everybody, round in a circle, what their all-time favorite Sonic game is, starting with John.
It's Sonic CD.
Christie.
I don't know. I like Sonic CD. I also like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Roger.
I mean,
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I got all 180
Ugh.
emblems twice.
yeah.
Okay, Dan, Tails Music Adventure for the Sega Pico.
Booyah! Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, the thing that resonates with people about freaking Sonic CD, that intro, that animated intro where the Sonic Boom song came from. Sonic has never been cooler than he is in that animated sequence.
I watched that
that's-
sequence like 30,000 times in Sonic Mega Collection for the GameCube, and was so pissed off that Sonic CD was not part of that collection.
Right?
That piece of animation is the best Sonic has ever been. Like, he's
I
gotten,
can agree with that.
He's gotten close. The thing is, like, when I think of like the best Sonic moments, I honestly think of pieces of animation. The Sonic Unleashed short film before that game came out with the Ghost Girl, that's very up there. That's really good. The intro to Sonic Unleashed is really good. The intro to Sonic Colors, like the pieces of animation they do about Sonic are great and tell you why that character is fun. But he hasn't been fun to play as for a little while now.
Hit me with
Let's
the
talk
Shadow
about
quiz.
Shadow.
Okay,
Yeah, let's
Shadow
talk about
quiz.
Shadow.
Okay, this is 8 questions. It is via Quiblo.com, which I've never heard of.
Sure.
And it is how much do you know about Shadow the Hedgehog by Shadow Girl 48.
Okay.
Okay, what is Shadow's favorite color? Black, blue, silver, or yellow?
Ooh, black.
Okay, what is his favorite food? Cherry lollipops, chili dogs, fruits, or fish?
What?
Fish.
What?
Fish.
Cherry lollipops.
Cherry lollipops, fine. What is his favorite gun? Shotgun, pistol, bazooka, spelled
Oh
B-A-Z-U-K-A, or none? He hates guns.
Oh my god.
Bazooka. It's gotta be bazooka, right?
What is the name with the girl he has a strong relationship with? Me, Maria, Amy Rose, or Sally Acorn?
It's Maria.
Me.
It's
Wait,
Maria.
is
Sally
option
Acorn.
1 me?
Yes!
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say me.
Who is his biggest rival? Sonic the Hedgehog, Knuckles the Echidna, Amy Rose, Silver the Hedgehog, or Maria?
She didn't
Maria.
even
Yeah,
say
Maria.
it to the end.
Sure,
Which of these
Maria.
choices best describes you? I need to go to school and get my... Wait, this is an ad.
What?
Oh,
What is the name of his biological father? Sonic the Hedgehog, Black Doom, Dr. Eggman, Amy Rose, or Charmy the Bee?
A big lizard that shoots out pink bubbles.
Black Doom.
it's
What is
Black
the name of his
Doom.
brothers? Black Arms, Sonic the Hedgehog, Silver the Hedgehog, Dr. Eggman, or Knuckles the Echidna?
what?
What was
Yeah,
it?
is that a reveal from Shadow the Hedgehog the game?
I don't know.
Because I don't
think it's Black
remember a
Arms.
reveal of him having
Black
brothers.
Arms. How old is he? 100 trillion, 16, 18, 12, 2, or 50?
Two.
Who cares?
2. Our results, 62%. We were eligible to date Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay,
It's 62%? Are you kidding
we're
me?
eligible to date him, guys.
That's pretty,
That's a wrap.
it's pretty cheap.
Tune in next time for our first date with Shadow the Hedgehog. This has been Game Losers Radio.
Riverscape.com.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh yeah, where can we find everybody? That's a
Oh.
good thing to ask. You can find me, the Game Losers Twitter account is @game_losers, and how about y'all?
I'm ultra_peanut on Twitter.
I am John Ryan Abbott. Abbott is with 2 B's and 2 T's on twitter.com.
And I don't have a Twitter, but you can find me at briefescape.com, where you'll find fun interviews with wonderful guests like Jillian Smith and Iker Meidegon and Patrick Klepek and Eric Buckles and Roger Burton and
Wait,
Colin
what?
Jennings. Wait, that last one might have been a lie.
And you know what? If you're listening to this and you don't listen to Bracket, I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I don't know
what's
what you're
wrong
doing.
with you?
I don't know who you are. I don't know how you got this address. Don't call again.
It's dinner time. I'm with my family.
Bracketpodcast.com. I think that's a website. I don't know. You follow Bracket on Twitter, and we're part of the Solid Platinum Hit Machines family.
And I'm not.
Yes, he is.
And okay, so for our first date with Shadow, what should we wear?
Nothing. Just like him.
That's a good idea.
Didn't the Maria girl wear like an Alice in Wonderland sort of thing?
Yeah.
like a blue dress. Yeah, that.
Okay, so I'm torn between nothing or dressing up as Alice in Wonderland. Can we just go halfsies? Alice in Wonderland clothes with nothing underneath, sort of letting
gross.
Shadow know
I don't.
that.
This is getting.
This no, he didn't love that girl. I mean, he loved
Yes,
her
he-
like a family member, but he wasn't like, I'm gonna marry this girl.
Well, he was too young. At that point, he wasn't even 2 years old yet. He
Oh,
couldn't even...
good damn, John.
Doing a professional radio show on the internet.